7 ways being a grown-up is harder in America. My friends, I'm not sure if I think about 7 ways that can make life more difficult in America than it is in Europe, but I guess we shall see. Before I go into that, let me ask you for one thing. If you can leave a like, thank you so much. Is the best way to show support. Now, if you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it. I make this joke all the time, I know, but take a look at that. You make my day, you make my day, you make our day, you make my day. My friends, you guys truly make my day. André, are you live? Thank you for asking. Yes, I'm live on Twitch, and all the beautiful people you see there is reacting to this live with me. So next time, come here. Come here. The link will be below. Join Twitch, totally free, and we have a lot of fun here. Link for the original video also below. Let's play it.
When I was a young lad, I don't think I ever imagined growing up as...
Oh, man. He's probably, what, 20 years old or something here?
an adult in any country other than my homeland of Britain. And indeed, in the first 8 years of my adult life, that was true. And then I moved to the United States.
Okay. You know what? I have a lot of respect for Lawrence, because I honestly believe Lawrence is a good example of an immigrant that ended up adapting so well to America and respecting so much the culture. Amazing.
And at this time of year, when I have to be an adult and buy Christmas presents for people, it got me thinking about a question that I was asked a few years ago, which was, how does being a grown adult differ from one side of the pond to the other? Well, before we get into that, statistically, in America, you're more likely as an adult to become a subscriber of this channel. And if you haven't yet done that, do that now.
Do it, my friends. Also for
In the
me.
meantime, here's what it's like being a grown-up in America. Now, it's hard to talk about this without firstly defining what an adult is. In both countries, this is widely viewed to be...
Okay, very easy, my friends. An adult here is exactly the same thing. 18, you are a grown-ass man. Move on with your life. Leave parents' home. To be fair, people tend to leave parents' homes at 30s nowadays. But this is the age.
Anybody who's 18 years of age or older. However, in a casual sense, back when I used to live in Britain, I used to define it as people that are legally old enough to drink. And of course, in Britain, that is 18 years of age. But of course...
Oh boy, in America it's 16, right? No, in America it's 21. Yeah, 21. Driving is 16. My friends, I think you guys should put everything 18. Real talk.
As it's well known, here in the United States, that's not quite true. Federally speaking, the age at which people can drink here is 21. So 21. Immediately in my eyes, that sort of half redefines what an adult is in America. And I think that...
21 to drink and smoke? No. No, you guys are kidding. No. I didn't know that. You cannot smoke until 21. Can someone confirm this, please? Because I was aware of the drinking thing, but smoke? It's true. Oh, wow. Damn. It's apparently a newer thing.
While that fact is widely known outside of the United States, what's less known is that the age of 21 is also when Americans are legally permitted to buy tobacco, or to buy a lottery ticket, or to do other things that American society has deemed somewhat taboo. For the sake of comparison...
Okay, my friends, I'm going to pause here because I have a question not related with the video, but I have to ask it. And this also goes for YouTube, so it is what it is. I was thinking about this... I think a lot about a lot of stuff. Sometimes BS stuff. But I was thinking about this. First of all, if you guys feel comfortable, tell me right now, how old are you? I'm 36. 36. I know I look younger. But how old are you? Over 50. 46. 64. We have a lot of older people. 33. 58. 39, 62, 57, 58. Okay, so we have a lot of people here that I believe are Gen X, some boomers maybe, close to 50, 72. That 72 is an amazing age, my friend. 43, 41. You guys can see. People are a bit older than me. Some people are a bit younger, but more people, I would say, older. So, my friends, please really take your time to answer this. I was thinking about if we could stop getting old, it will be at the 30s, the 40s. If you guys think about your prime, tell me, André, if I could go back to this age and stay there forever, this will be the age. Okay, 30, 27, 28, 30s, 30, 25, 30, okay. Because the thing is, physically, I was better at my 20s. I actually went to the gym a lot. I was not like Adams, crazy strong, but I was a fit guy. So I felt great there. But in terms of my mind, I was a bit dumb. You know, not that I'm crazy smart now. Don't go crazy. But I was very immature. You know, at my 30s, after becoming father, 33, 34, 35, around those ages, or even now, I feel like this is probably the age I would love to stop getting old. Does this make sense to you, my friends? Because I have like the knowledge, not a lot of, I mean, people that are 50s are laughing at me, but I feel like it's a sweet spot. When you are 20s, you are a bit crazy. But you know what? I think when you are 50s, my friends, for the ones that are over 35 or 50, do you guys feel, I'm not saying smarter, but do you guys feel that you guys understand this life a bit better than you did when you are in your 30s? Because I think this is a constant thing, right? Yes. Yeah, I think time is an amazing thing and a bad thing at the same time. Because I think our body goes down, but here I think we improve a lot. You care less about other people's opinion, less the older you get. See, I was watching a video, this probably was years ago. It was an old man talking with a young guy, and the old man said that and stuck with me that when you are old, you regret that you end up thinking so much about what other people would say. And because you understand that made no sense. That was my life. For me, 27 was the age I felt like an adult. Okay. But do you guys care less about what other people think nowadays? People that are a bit older, of course. This is a great conversation, my friends. I love that we are here doing this. I know it's related with the video, but it's something that I think about, so.
And the legal age in the UK for both of those
Don't
things
care anymore.
is 18. So you could say that legally Americans become adults at 18, but culturally it doesn't happen until they're 21. On the other hand, some states allow Americans to get behind the wheel of a vehicle at a younger age than you are allowed in Britain. Obviously, as I've mentioned before, driving is a bit more of a necessity in this country. And when you're a young person...
To be honest with you, my friends, we have to go back here. We are talking so much. To be honest with you, my friends, the only people I kind of care is my parents. You know, I still care if my parents, you know, what my neighbors, if they talk some crap about me, my friends, honestly, I don't give two. You guys know what comes next. I don't give a shit. Not gonna say this is a family-friendly channel, and that's it. But my parents, I care. You know, because I think like I'm a reflection of what they tried. It kind of makes sense, right?
Culturally, it doesn't happen until they're 21. On the other hand, some states allow Americans to get behind the wheel of a vehicle at a younger age than you are allowed in Britain. Obviously, as I've mentioned before, driving is a bit more of a necessity in this country. And when you're a young person who has to go off to college or go to a job, a lot of the time the only way to get there is by car, so it sort of makes sense. Just make sure you've had a cup of coffee before hitting the road. All right, I will, because if you're looking for the sort of holiday gift that says you look like you need
This is a sponsor, right?
caffeine, this is one of the easiest wins that I've found. It's Trade Coffee, a subscription where every bag is picked specifically for your taste and roasted to order by independent roasters around the US. What I like about Trade is that unlike most parts of my life, it doesn't feel algorithmic. You take a quick quiz and then real coffee experts match you with something that makes sense, and it shows.
Sorry, this is the sponsor. We are going to skip this part either way. So, but show him all the support. Something that I thought it was interesting, it was, someone said, don't feel like makeup today, no worries. Gained a little weight, not worth feeling I'm trash and dating my body. You know what, my friends, I kind of related with that, not with the makeup stuff, with the, okay, that was weird that I had to explain that. But see, I end up gaining a bit, I'm a bit overweight nowadays, it is what it is. But honestly, and I swear, is not. I don't care that I'm overweight. I don't care what other people think. I care that I'm overweight because of my health. That's it, you know. So, but when I was younger, yeah, I would probably care. My entire life, people have spread rumors about me and my family, and I have been bullied. I'm so sorry for that, my friend. I stopped caring about what others say when I was a teenager. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't still be there. Wouldn't still be here, sorry. My friend, sorry first of all again for that. And yeah, I mean, you should not care. Live your life, right, my friend? We are all in this journey together. Life goes crazy, crazy fast. And at the end of the day, I honestly believe the superpower we all have is showing love to other people. I don't remember having any type of success in my life envying other people, hating on other people. Every time I had success in my life or good times in my life was when I showed love when I show love. Because when I show love, I tend to receive love. Sorry, this was a bit of broken English here, my friends, but this is something I believe.
On a Trade subscription, they answer a few questions, and then fresh coffee just keeps showing up at their door. Right now, Trade is offering 25% off gift subscriptions at drinktrade.com/LITP and 20% off gift sets. That's drinktrade.com/LITP to get 25% off gift subscriptions and 20% off gift sets. Drinktrade.com/LITP. The link is in the description below. And then there's the question of, what happens once you're in that job. And I don't just mean from the point of view of somebody who's 21 years old, but all the way up to retirement age. And there are many things I think that stand out to me about the world of work in this country. But one of the big things is that your job here has a greater tendency, I think, to become your whole personality. In other words, it's what people...
Yeah, you know what? I kind of agree with him here, because I feel like Americans take work very seriously. And I understand this is amazing for the economy and makes America the number one country. At the end of the day, America is the number one country because of Americans. But can also consume you a lot.
People know you for. They'll ask you questions like, so what do you do? And I've resorted to saying, well, occasionally I walk my dogs, brush my teeth, general things that most of us do. Because I didn't like that question. I didn't like being defined by my job until I became a YouTube sensation and then it had more glamour. But we do. I think that's part of being an American adult. It's part of the networking game that we all play here. And I think sometimes...
But it's kind of crazy when your entire personality is related with your job, because your job can go away. You need to... My personality is something more deep than that.
It becomes easy for you to fall into that trap, especially when in America we work so many more hours than in the UK. You know, people bash LinkedIn, and rightly so, but really it's just a digital extension of the American office, not to be confused with the TV show, but actual offices that I've actually worked in. And I must say, I got burned out by it. It was a choice between, do I stay in this environment, or do I go full-time on YouTube where I don't have to play that particular game anymore? And I think that it was a no-brainer. I just needed to touch base with myself and get my ducks in a row, which is the language.
Okay, I could go full all in with YouTube if I want to, but I'm not going to do that, my friends. Honestly, I think this online world is very uncertain. I know I have this community and you guys are amazing, but I'm going to keep my normal job as well I can. You know, it's something that I also love to do. I work with digital marketing. I manage traffic for a bunch of websites, a bunch of ads, and it's something that I've been doing for a long time at this point. I don't remember exactly the number, but yeah, I'm going to keep doing that, my friends. Pays me okay. If YouTube goes away, I will be fine.
Of offices across the country. And I spoke a few weeks ago about how American companies are not obligated to give their employees paid time off.
Because some people think no, my friends. Maybe I'm a bit too afraid, but no. I always said this to Sarah when the channel started doing, I said Sarah in the English accent, is Sarah. In a Portuguese accent. I always told this to Sarah that for me, to feel comfortable doing YouTube, putting a video every day, I need to have this in mind. If YouTube goes away, my life does not change. And because of that, I also don't buy things or do crazy things, spending money in stupid stuff, that if YouTube goes away, I will miss those. No, I try what I eat, where we go, that I was able to do that without YouTube money. I'm not sure if this makes sense. Because I don't want to be the guy that all of a sudden, my life is different. No. I'm not going to do that. Even nowadays, my friends, I'm a cheap person. I'm very cheap.
Weeks ago about how American companies are not obligated to give their employees paid time off. One thing that I didn't mention is that partially because of this, only around 50% of Americans own a passport. Compare this to Britain, where more than 80% of people have one. And there are numerous reasons for this, aside from the delicate matter of paid time off. Many Americans will tell you that it's the high cost of traveling overseas, while others will say, but America's so big, why would I need to go anywhere else? And so if Americans do take vacations, most of the time that's happening in the US. Nothing wrong with that, of course. I mean, if I were to live the rest of my life in the United States, I still wouldn't get to see every corner of this massive country. Statistically speaking, being an adult in America means you are far more likely to never step foot on the soil of another country. And that's important to me.
And my friends, that most jobs in America don't pay vacation, right? My friend, thank you. 100 bits. Thank you so much, my friend. Appreciate you. Much love. Yesterday I was watching Lewis and Adam, and when everyone ended up giving a sub or the beats, my friends, it looks like fireworks. It's crazy. Lewis have some emote doing this to a song. Adam is like an explosion. It's crazy.
Somebody who clearly has by moving here. I do think that seeing other parts of the world does broaden your horizons, because as one of your own, Mark...
I thought most jobs do pay like 2 weeks vacation. Okay, that's interesting, because people told me that was not the case. Every sub is a party, yeah.
That seeing other parts of the world does broaden your horizons, because as one of your own, Mark Twain, put it, travel is fatal to prejudice. But when I think of adulthood, I don't just think about traveling, I think about some of the boring stuff like filing taxes. And when it comes to comparing British and American life, I think this is one of those areas that doesn't get...
When is tax season in America?
Covered nearly enough. Why do I say that? Because in Britain, on the whole, we don't file taxes. And that's because our taxes get paid every payday to the HM Revenue and Customs. That's Britain's equivalent of the IRS. So...
Wait, really? They don't file? Wow, no, it is different, my friends. In April, we have to file taxes.
It's all sort of done for us, whereas in America, I was stunned to find the
First few months of
responsibility
the
of
year.
doing that maths is on you. Except you don't do it every payday, you wait until April, where you or a tax expert has to sit down and put in all these numbers, and then send it, and then hope they accept it. And this is all despite the fact that the IRS already has all of this information and could probably just do it if we built that system. But we don't build.
To be fair, I kind of agree with this, my friends. They already have the information, but we still have to send the stuff. It is exactly the same thing here. I wish this was a bit more automatic. I mean, just tell me how much I have to pay. You know what I mean?
Build that system so it's left to the individual. And that is a part of adult life that I don't think a lot of Americans realize doesn't happen in many other countries. Now, as I alluded to earlier, being an American adult means you are statistically way more likely to own a vehicle. In our case, a Toyota Prius. What does this mean? Well, obviously it means you spend more time in a car, but not just for the reasons that I mentioned, but also for the longer commute times. Some American adults will spend a quarter of their workday driving to and from their workplace. Actually, this is...
You know what, my friends? I think this point is very important. Some people, they work so far, and sometimes people forget that they need to put that time as work time, right? If there is a job that pays me, an example, 100, but is close to my home, and the other job pays me 120, but is like 1 hour driving, personally, I would go for the one that is 100, my friends. Because, oh man. No. I actually hate driving, my friends. I mean, I don't mind driving around here, but when we have doing it daily, it's annoying.
Something that I had
Thank
to
you
do
for the
when I
follow,
lived
friend.
in Anderson, Indiana, but worked
Kayla.
in Indianapolis. On high traffic days, that journey would take up to an hour. And I've just observed that in general, people and cars are more joined at the hip here than they are in Britain. And then there's something that's near and dear to my own heart, and that's home ownership. And I know what you're thinking, ew, Lawrence, are you just going to tell us about the superior size of American houses again? No,
Oh boy.
actually. This is more to do with something called age demographics. See, statistics show that if I'd stayed in Britain, I might have procured my first house 6 years earlier than I ended up
Florida Sabrina, thank you for the follow.
doing in America. And that's because the average age of your first-time home buyer in Britain is about 33 to 34, whereas in the United States in 2025, it's about 40. And you don't believe the stats?
Oh, my friends, I didn't know this. So the first, okay, 40. So it's fair, my friends, to say that nowadays is probably quite more difficult to buy a home in America, right? Down payment on a home in the USA is a lot. Something that the Portuguese government did last year, and a lot of people are using that. If you are below, I believe 35, you don't have to do a down payment if you want to buy a house. Basically, I believe, again, I never did this, but I believe it's the bank and the government, they have some type of partnership, if this makes sense. So you don't have to pay to have basically, if you are below 35 years, you can buy a house without having any money. Even the taxes that you have to pay that at the moment you buy, they pay for you. I'm not sure if they pay everything, but I know it's almost everything. The government here did that because young people end up struggling a lot to buy homes. Let's say they want to buy a home that is 300k. They needed at least 30k, sometimes more. People don't have that type of money, my friends. So they end up making free, kind of, right? Of course, you are going to pay when they give you the loan, but I don't know, my friends. I think it's kind of like an interesting way to approach this.
Well, listen to this anecdote instead, because I had only just stopped being 40 when I closed on this house 3 years ago tomorrow. Yes, it happened on...
André, did you go to the doctor? I went, my friend. I'm going to give you a quick update. And I basically... Thank you for offering us up, my friend. Basically, the doctor told me that I need to do MRI. I will do it February 2nd, I believe. Don't quote me on this, but I think it's February 2nd. and also ended up giving me some meds for back pain that I think are working actually. So good news there. But yeah.
Being 40, when I closed on this house 3 years ago tomorrow. Yes, it happened on Christmas Eve. And my British viewers might be watching this and thinking, wow, I thought 34 was quite old to buy my first house. Why are Americans in the richest country in the world choosing to do it much later? And the truth is, it's not really about choice. Putting it off due to lower wages, unaffordable home prices, high mortgage rates, and in a lot of people's cases, high student loan debt. You know, I thought that my student loan debt of 12
Okay, I'm curious here, since this is a bit of an older community, anyone here deals with student loan debt, or do you guys have someone very close to you that deals with this? I'm curious because this is not a thing here, my friends.
£1,000, which equates to roughly $16,000, was bloody ridiculous. But during my brief...
Yes, me. Okay. I'm not asking how much you want. Don't get me. How much you are in debt. But if you guys could give me an idea, for example, when you leave university at 25, let's say, this is a random number, could be earlier, I guess. 25. Normally is like what? 10K, 20K in debt. 20K, 50K. I don't know that well, how much Americans average basically go in that. I'm an open book. Thank you for that. I borrowed 36K and now owe 95. How is that possible? Wait, sorry. So they gave you 36,000 and now it's almost 100K. Wait, something is wrong there, my friend. I paid off my student loan debt in about 10 years. I had over 30K in debt, and that was about 20 years. Ooh, my friends. Callisteran, 30K 20 years ago is like at least 50K now, right? At least. Interest rates over many years. Oh. Oh man. Caraman, again, if you don't feel comfortable, don't answer. I mean, this, of course, we respect you here. But is it even worth it to go to university? Because for some people, seems like an anchor. Do you guys know the thing anchor? Am I saying that word correct in English? Something that pulls you down forever. Maybe if you went to, let's say, a job after high school, you'll be much better now. It took me 4 years to pay mine off. Okay, 4 years is not that crazy, to be fair. Anchor, yes. Okay. Damn, that's crazy, my friends. That's actually crazy. This is the student loan. I don't understand this very well because it's a super American thing. Here, going to university, it's not totally free, but it's kind of free. To be honest with you, comparing with America, it's free. Very interesting, my friends. Thank you for sharing that. Associate degrees is the way to go. John, what is an associate degree? They don't make you pay until you get a job in your career. Is it 2 years college? Wait, that's a thing. Go to a school you can afford. Someone, are you guys talking about American football? There is famous teams playing right now. Okay. Low level engineering. Wow, but you are still, if you are an engineer, it's still an amazing thing. Okay, my friends, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate this. My friends, and if you are on YouTube watching this complaining, what the hell, the video never ends. My friend, again, there is a link below. Join Twitch. Empire Gone, my friend, how are you doing? Empire Gone, you have been missing my live streams. And you know I love you. But thank you, friend. Thank you.
Stint working in a call centre for Navient. I was stunned to find that it is not altogether uncommon for people's student loan.
You know what? This is the message that Twitch are sending is in Portuguese. What the hell?
Debt to be 6 figures. And so they're concentrating on trying to pay that back, in addition to paying things like rent, car insurance, grocery.
Okay, we have to go back here because this is an interesting topic. My friends, here in my country, basically people that are around my age and the newer generation, almost everyone goes to university. And you know what's fantastic? Nowadays, jobs that you don't have, you don't need a university degree, are paying as well or even more than, I don't know, a random engineer, I would say. That's crazy. Now, my friend, if you are really good at construction, it's amazing here. If you are a really good at, for example, installing drywall, you can make more than an engineer here. It's actually something that, and one of the reasons Portuguese people have been importing so many immigrants is because we need that, let's say it's not really, but low job type of qualification. You know what I mean, my friends? No, but yeah, my friends, we are paying very well here at those type of works. If you are an electrician, my friends, you can make a lot of money.
People's student loan debt to be 6 figures.
Plumbers is exactly the same here. Plumbers also make a lot here,
And so they're concentrating on trying to pay that back, in addition to paying things like rent, car insurance, groceries, and
basically, we have to go back again. But basically what I mean is you guys have the white collar jobs and the blue collar jobs. The gap is going away, my friends. Blue collar jobs are paying well because people don't want to do those type of jobs. And, we still need them. Is this also happening in America, or the white-collar jobs still pay quite more?
People's student loan debt to be 6 figures. And so they're concentrating on trying
6 figures, my friends.
To pay that back, in addition to paying things like rent, car insurance, groceries. And the idea of buying a house under those circumstances, given that the last increase to the federal national minimum wage came in 2009, is a pretty daunting task. Now, I have to say that I absolutely love owning my own American house. And I don't want to tread old ground and detail all of the reasons why, but one of those things is that I get to host large amounts of people. And doing so, I think, is a bigger reality of American life than it is of British life. As an adult, in America, it's very likely that if you...
I'm sorry. Lewis owes 100 from student loans. Wait. Are we talking about the same Lewis?
You have one of the cool houses. We have a cool house. You'll be the people that are looked to host 4th of July, Thanksgiving, Christmas. And you don't just host a gathering of 2 or 3 of your favourite family members. You host a gathering of 2 or 3 of your favourite family members, plus lots of less favourable family members. I hope my wife's cousin Chad isn't watching. Now, back when I wasn't a host of such events, but rather a guest, I didn't think I would like the responsibility all that much. But actually, having hosted family the last 2 Christmases, I thrive at it because as an introvert, when you're hosting, you're so busy getting things like plates ready, bringing people drinks, watching them unwrap Christmas presents, that you don't really have to talk to anyone. So it's fine. And when I do talk to them, they're usually drunk, so they won't remember anything. But in all seriousness, when I lived in the UK, and when my family members host Christmas, it's usually just immediate family and 1 aunt and 1 uncle. Here, you could end up with up to 30 people coming in and out. That means there's more cleaning up to do, but that can wait till Boxing Day. Oh wait, we don't celebrate that in America. To adults everywhere, Merry Christmas, and make sure you watch my video.
Thank you, my friend. My friend, show him all the love. No, but I have to ask this. What's Lewis' degree? 100k. I mean, he needs to start paying that. YouTube pays him. He's doing so well on YouTube. YouTube pays him enough to start putting that down. That I have zero debt when it comes to my student time. The degree is goofing. Something in IT computers. Okay. Programming, really? Oh wow. It's a good degree. I have never used my degree working as a funeral. Oh man, working as a funeral director and going the apprenticeship route was very much the way to go. Okay. Very interesting talk, my friends, and great video. I like to react to Lawrence. Specific, you know what? Reacting to Lawrence is even more interesting with you, my friends. For real, my friends. Even more interesting because, see, we end up approaching a lot of topics. Because if I was reacting to this alone, I would go, oh, that's crazy. Oh, wow, I was not aware of this. And the video will be a bit more boring. I think this way it was better. People simplify things too much, going from software development to construction at age 55. How realistic is this? To be fair, not super realistic, yeah. I have a computer science degree. Congratulations, my friend. But these days I can't get a job with that degree. Really? Good thing I paid it off while I was still in that career. Okay. Do you guys think it's because of... maybe AI or something, because people say those type of jobs, they will be the first to get affected with AI, ChatGPT, Gemini, all of those.